lively.
Bathurst is not just a motor race, it's an Australian sporting tradition.
Everyone knows in Australia about Bathurst.
It's always a spectacle, there's always a drama, there's always the unexpected.
I still do it to this day. You drive in there and you say, what's this day going to bring? Because you just don't know. It's just such a weird place.
But you just accepted that it had a bit of barbed wire around one side of the track where you could fall over and drop, 1,000 feet or whatever it might be.
It's a driver circuit. It's got the beauty of skimming walls and big open fast sections. It's got everything wrapped into one lap.
Fans hanging over the fence and screaming and shouting, and I'd never experienced anything like that before, and I'd raced all over the world.
If you won Bathurst, you won everything, and still to this day I love Bathurst.
You can't really describe it. It is so fast, it's so exhilarating. It's an awesome track, it's an awesome feeling.
That's the only race, isn't it, in Australia?
Hello and welcome to Shannons Legends of Motorsport. Well, today we wrap up Series 2. And what a journey it's been. We've talked to some of the biggest names in the business. We've heard some wonderful stories. We've gazed in awe at iconic cars and some extraordinary footage from the 7 Motorsport archives. But arguably the greatest legend of all is not a person, it's not a brand, certainly not a car. It towers above all other legends. It's Mount Panorama, Bathurst. Mark Oster will bring back another Shannons classic car that will epitomise the legend that is Bathurst. And I'm joined once again for expert commentary and insights by the great Aaron Noonan.
Thank you, Billy. Good to be here. And I tell you what, we're talking about Mecca here, aren't we?
Sure.
This is the place of pilgrimage of Australian motor racing, and it's the sort of place that is it's the perfect way to wrap up what's been another really great series of Shannons Legends of Motorsport. And it's so different to the modern-day racetrack where they do reviews and reports and computer simulations and all sorts of stuff and come up with terrible racetracks anyway. But in the case of Mount Panorama, it's actually an amazing story of how this place came to be.
How can it be that a ribbon of bitumen winding its way across a seemingly modest mountain has become a legend in its own right? When Mount Panorama was first constructed in 1938, it wasn't labelled a racetrack, rather a scenic drive, and was in an area formerly known as Bald Hills. Some would argue Peter Brock is the greatest name in the history of Bathurst, but racing enthusiast and former Mayor Martin Griffin should really get the vote. He was the man who convinced the New South Wales Parliament to fund the road. Its construction would provide work for hundreds near the end of the Great Depression. But in reality, it was a racetrack. Griffin had pulled off a con job of mountainous proportions. Declared open on St Patrick's Day in 1938, the mountain hosted its first race weekend for bikes and cars the next month at Easter, featuring the Australian Grand Prix. The road was unsealed, and Englishman Peter Whitehead claimed victory in a supercharged ERA. The prestigious Australian Grand Prix was held at Bathurst another 3 times in the years that followed, plus a range of other significant events on both 2 and 4 wheels. But something even greater was just around the corner that not even Martin Griffin could have imagined in his most wildest of dreams.
Well, the track itself is, of course, famous the world over, but really, Aaron, the love affair in this country started with the great race.
And in the early 1960s, you have to understand that the situation in Australian racing was completely different. Open wheelers, the Gold Star, the Tasman Series, that was the prestigious #1 thing. The touring car racing was kind of a support category along the way. But things started to evolve, things started to switch around, and the positions, as they are these days, where tin tops are in front of open wheels, and it was the Armstrong 500 and Bathurst, the Enduro, that really started to flip the tide.
The Bathurst 1000 started its life in another state, on another circuit. A Melbourne PR man with the shock absorber client Armstrong came up with the idea of a 500-mile production car race in 1960. Held at Phillip Island, it proved a great chance for manufacturers to prove the credentials of their vehicles. But the circuit couldn't cope. It broke up by the end of 1962 and repair wasn't an option. Sandown was mentioned as a replacement, but in the end, the Australian Racing Drivers Club at Bathurst landed the race. On Sunday, October 6, 1963, the Armstrong 500 debuted at Mount Panorama, with 7 Sport covering the action, and a legend was born. Small cars dominated the early years, 4-cylinder Cortinas and then Minis sweeping all before them, before Harry Firth and Fred Gibson took the first V8 win in a Falcon in 1967. What followed was the start of the Holden versus Ford fight, and the two local powerhouses would own the race for more than a decade. The public fell in love with the race. The cars they drove on the road were battling for supremacy on the track. It was the height of win on Sunday, sell on Monday, as manufacturers rode the close link between on-track success and showroom sales. V8 Falcons and Monaros took the headlines, but full fields of varied cars and classes made the race a mobile showroom on live television. Sponsorship was permitted on cars in 1968, and 2 young guns named Brock and Moffat made their debut a year later. 1972 would mark the end of an era, the last time solo drivers were permitted, and the last time the race would be run over 500 miles. A famous distance of 1,000 kilometres awaited, but the 500 era had formed the foundations of something truly special.
And I reckon there are still plenty of motorsport fans out there who didn't know that origin story, how Bathurst and the Great Race found each other.
Amazing stuff, isn't it? And the rest is history.
and on that subject, when we come back after the break, we'll tell you how it stepped up from 500 miles to 1,000 kilometres. This is Shannons, Legends of Motorsport.
Bathurst is just unreal. It's just a circuit on its own, you know. When I stopped racing in '84 at Bathurst, I'd done every year from '63 to '84. I had a 20-year break then, and then the boys talked me into doing an NC car then, an NC Capri. I just came out of the pits and turned and went up the mountain, and mate, the hair stood up on my back. Concrete walls didn't faze me at all, because what I raced on prior to that was with railway sleepers for safety fences. But it just made the hair stand up my back. I just saw myself going up the mountain. I thought, this is being home, you know, just like being at home.
Oh, we've had another bang, and is that the race? That's the leader. Dick Johnson, he has gone into the fence. Dick Johnson, the leader, he's broken the left-hand front suspension. You can see by the way that car is leading down. I rather think that Dick came round the corner and found himself with an impossible situation. Good. Oh, you can see how he went up the wall there now.
We're back with Shannon's Legends of Motorsport, and the legend today is Mount Panorama. And Aaron Noonan, when I think of the mountain and the Great Race, you think of all the famous things, the hard luck stories, the nail-biting finishes, the epic failures. There is so much drama.
Well, we call it the Great Race, but really it's only the Great Race for the guys who win it. For everybody else, there's some form of chaos or catastrophe or drama, all those stories that only happen at Bathurst. Guys attacking cars with axes, kangaroos bouncing onto the track. I mean, you've had just about anything that you could ever imagine that wouldn't happen at a racetrack happen at a racetrack. And over the years, there's been some unbelievable accidents. In 1970, Tony Roberts was the defending winner. He'd won the year before with Colin Bond. He was running third with 3 laps to go in his GTHO Falcon, and then he tried to reverse park off the top of the mountain.
Living testimony to the value of safety equipment is Tony Roberts, winner in '69 and luckiest man in 1970.
It said that I had the most spectacular crash ever in motorsport in Australia. Coming off the skyline, I was doing about 90 mile an hour, approaching the braking zone to commence my run down the mountain, and I put my foot towards the brake pedal, and that was the last thing I remember. It all went quiet, and I think I counted to about 5 seconds, and the scenery was going blue, green, blue, green, blue, green. I think I rolled about 5.5 times, and the next thing I know, I was standing bolt upright out of the car.
As I come over the blind approach to McPhillamy Park Corner and at speed in excess of 100 miles an hour, a tyre burst on the car, causing it to veer straight ahead into the bank. And I was a bit worried, for the crowd's sake, that the car would sort of jump the fence and end up in amongst the people. I was just crashing and glass breaking and banging and carrying on. When the car finally came to rest, I was still conscious, and Datus ran over and they started to tip the car up. I yelled out to them to stop, smelled petrol, and I asked if anyone's smoking, would they kindly leave. By this time the crash truck had arrived and I knew everything was all right. Myself, I felt one of my legs was caught. I didn't know what was going on. The back of the seat had broken and I was laying down flat in the car. They finally got me out. I had a look at the car and then I went to Bathurst Hospital.
The team managers frantic, the crews getting out the wet weather tyres in preparation for a swarm of pit stops as the showers sweep in.
The yellow flags are out at the moment. I think I just saw the pace car going out. It's actually hailing here at present. It's freezing cold.
And here's the reason why the pace car's out.
This is the reason up on the top part of the mountain.
1987 World Championship year, awful conditions, but 5 years later, another skating rink.
Oh, when that place is wet, it's unbelievably scary. I think it's scary enough in the dry. And talking to a lot of the drivers who were in that race in 1992, of course, everyone remembers the podium where Jim told them they were a bunch of lovely people, Dick and John Bower revved them up and Neil Crompton flipped the bird. But it was the sort of thing where guys were scared that day because they still speak about it 20-odd years later. They were driving out the window looking at the white lines to know where on earth they were on the circuit. And some of the dramas that unfolded in the 1992 Tooheys 1000 were some of the worst that we've ever seen in some of the worst conditions that we've ever seen at the mountain as well.
There's no point staying out there. It's going to hang around this bad weather.
There it is.
I would expect we might see a red flag. I can see them stopping this race.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
144 laps gone, and we will not see 145. Red flag is out. The race is over.
Oh, that's Alan Jones.
Alan Jones, the car's on fire, stopped in the middle of the circuit.
Goodness me, Alan Jones. Well, the race leader.
That one is going to be in bad shape.
Now they're going to have to get a hell of a lot more extinguishers down there to get that one under control.
Well, that fellow isn't going around the other side, and I don't blame him. He doesn't want to get onto the track.
Especially the smoking.
He's not. The extinguisher is not doing the job. That is going to really get moving. If he doesn't get around behind the tire, now he's just...
No,
he's not going to do it.
He's going to get out of there.
He better walk away from it.
Yeah.
That's going to be a dangerous situation shortly.
From the commentary box, we can see the plume of smoke coming up through the trees. There's the pack leader team. Ross Stone absolutely shattered. Look at the fire. That is getting hold of that car big time. That is going to be a burnout very, very quickly.
Well, it really sums it up when you see that sobering, humbling shot of a Formula One world champion staring at the Stone Brothers Falcon burning to a crisp.
Totally helpless, couldn't do much, could he but watch. But I think it was really rude of Alan Jones. He didn't invite anybody to the barbecue at all.
Well, we've got some more for you coming up in Shannon's Legends of Motorsport. After the break, we'll celebrate some great laps at Mount Panorama.
Listen to that engine revving as Kevin takes it out beyond the white line.
My greatest disappointment, of course, is not winning it for Packer in the Camaro.
Oh, he's gone. Kevin Barton's roll is over. Barton has gone. He's got Dick Johnson maybe into him. No, Dick got out of the way. But the back tyre is off.
That's the greatest disappointment of my life, in fact.
Master is there to try and get Kevin up. He's okay. Kevin Barton, another wretched year for him.
But the rest of the times, 20, 25 or 26 or even more Bathursts that I've done in various motor cars along the way, it's like I don't have to replay it too much in the head because it's there all the time. I can just about remember every single car that I've been in there.
Here the crowd erupt again through here.
The driving of the lap, if you get a good car, it works with you and you can put all the bits and pieces together. There's nothing more satisfying than doing a good lap round here.
Almost. Not good enough.
Goodness me, like a demented dog through that area.
The harder you try, the slower you go. If you can control yourself and do everything within your limits, not frighten yourself or overstress the car, going in too hard a brake and also upsetting the car going in a corner, you won't do a good time.
This is going to be quick.
Oh, it's got to wrap it up for him, hasn't it?
2:36.43. He's done it.
We're back on Shannon's Legends of Motorsport, focusing on Bathurst 1963 to 1996. And in that time, so many wonderful memories of great laps, Aaron. Laps that just made us hold our breath.
First laps, last laps, top 10 shootout laps. Amazing cars, amazing drivers showing bravery, skill, potentially a little bit of stupidity along the way as well.
That's all right.
Exactly, and there's some of the memories that stick out from the history of Bathurst. And when I think of great laps, great drivers and great cars, it's hard to go past Peter Brock in the Holden dealer team Tirana A9X in 1979.
Let's go back over this lap again with Peter Brock telling us exactly how it felt to post that great time to take pole position.
Well, I think I got that little corner not too badly, actually. I got out of there in second gear. As I approached the flag marshal's point there now, she's really screaming, and I've just hit third gear. Now, for this lap only, I've held third gear right up over the crest and down, and you can hear it absolutely screaming at red 7,000. Back to second, using all the road I can, and here's where I've made a giant mistake. Coming in miles too fast, you can see the car running wide and bouncing and leaping, almost hit the wall on the outside, and almost stopped, put it back to first gear, using all the road and not getting it out of shape. And I can assure you that it was very, very slippery, very treacherous indeed. Had to keep a very tight line through here, through McPhillamy, using all the road on the exit. And now the next bit's the bit where you really make the time up. If you can get over the top of that mountain quickly, using all the road, out of third at 7,000. I won't use those revs during a race. You can see the dust flying up from the back of the car there as I'm going very close to the edge. I always go very close to the left-hand side of the circuit down there to try to stop the wind affecting the car, and threw it into the corner. You can see the inside front wheel just popping a bit of smoke in the air and coming out a little bit under the cam, but not too bad at all.
A very quick little car. He's going to have a problem here with, as you could see, bringing on the turbo and the tyres on the coal side. It's going to give him a wild ride around the top of the mountain if he hasn't got heat into the tyres. Fury, a very, very quick driver around this course. Likes the track. Here he comes. Nice, clean lines. Keeping in mind only a couple of hours ago we had snow across the mountain here at Bathurst.
Go, 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 says George Fury, down to the bottom of Conrod Straight. He's about to make the left-hander take the checkered flag for his lap of Hardy's Heroes, and it's going to be a quick, quick time.
Harry Scott climbs to the top of the mountain in the Nissan. Turbo really screaming. Fastest of the turbo cars throughout the week.
Here he comes across Castrol Curve, using all of the racetrack, then some. Caught the back of it, just kissed the dust out there on the edge of the circuit. Down through Bridgestone.
Yeah, Gary Scott, this is Skyline, 1986. They finished third on the Sunday.
Great year, that one. That was Alan Grice and Graham Bailey in the Chickadee Chickens Commodore that won the race. The last year that they actually had the full Conrod Straight at Mount Panorama. But last season on Shannon's Legends of Motorsport, we had Tony Longhurst on the show, and we showed an amazing lap when he was in the Turbo Sierra from 1989. It was so wild, he nearly crashed multiple times in the one lap. We've had so many people ask about it, so we've decided that in Series 2, we'll show it again.
You can't really describe it. It is so fast, it's so exhilarating when you put everything together right there. It's an awesome track, it's an awesome feeling. And the TV or words don't do it justice.
Immaculately prepared and turned out cars from this camp. This looks good. I think he's made a better entry into the Reed Park area than Klaus and looks to be just as wound up.
You know, get through the cutting and start coming up across McPhillamy and Reed Park there. You've got to be so brave and so accurate. If you can just get it right, just up to 200 revs.
Two-wheeling. Goodness me. Fantastic stuff from Tony Longhurst. The car just working every which way.
to go blind over Skyline, you know, you go around a road car and you think, wow, geez, this is really dangerous. But when you're doing 200 knots plus and the car's light, that's a great feeling.
Beneath the Bridgestone Bridge, down to the last corner, 208, 209 so far.
This looks good.
It sure does. The exit. The checkered flag awaits Tony Longhurst, and here he comes.
Oh, a 2:16.98, the fastest man so far.
There's Brock at work.
A picture of total concentration. Brock at 10/10 around Mount Panorama, a circuit he dearly loves, and a circuit he does particularly well at.
Boy, he's putting the boot in. Yeah, he's chasing the thing all the way up to the rev limiter in each gear, and he braked very, very late at the end of Mountain Straight. Look at the car leap over there. It's set up reasonably soft. The front left wheel was about 18 inches off the deck, I think, through Reed Park. And listen to that crowd. Look at the rear wheel. It was off the deck over the top of McPhillamy.
Oh, listen to the crowd. They're loving this. The Mountain Master, Brock, 9-time winner, back in a Holden, and gee, he's really on the limit.
And is not running the race engine, running a practice engine, so he can afford to give it everything.
The crowd might be loving it. He wouldn't have liked that moment. That cost him time getting sideways there. He had to lift off and get the thing recovered.
Fastest time at Forest Elbow, 1 minute 30.
Oh, that's dancing round better than Fred Astaire.
What an amazing lap. Peter Brock out of control in the Mopel Commodore VN. I've got a really quick story for you, Billy. That year, Channel 7 kept him in the race. His co-driver, Andrew Meeke, this car behind us, actually stopped on the middle of the track, couldn't restart it, so the mobile mechanics went down to the Channel 7 compound, got the race cam technicians to zoom the camera in to where the problem was, got him to hotwire it, rewired it, got it back to the pits, back in the race, lost some laps, finished 7th. I mean, Channel 7 showing the race and keeping Brock in it.
That's what they call the good old days. This is Shannon's Legends of Motorsport from 1963 to 1996. An amazing 7 motorsport library. We're going to have a little fun after the break.
I think in all sports there is an iconic event. Racing has its Melbourne Cup, there are grand finals, there are State of Origin, there's Boxing Day tests, there's Sydney to Hobart, yacht races, you name it. They're all there. Motor racing has Bathurst. It is the great car race of Australia. It always will be, in my opinion, so it is unique. It's that one-off iconic event, won't change, and it's, you know, it's the one race that I think most of Australians, even if they don't follow motor racing week in, week out, stop to watch and take note.
The one thing you remember about Bathurst is, especially when you drive from Sydney to Bathurst over the Blue Mountains, is when you come over the hill and you see that big white sign that says Mount Panorama. That sort of kind of is when the goosebumps start to happen, you know, that, you know, this is Bathurst, we're going this weekend and we're going to have, hopefully, a damn good event. And you always have dreams about going well there, but you certainly will always, any driver will tell you, they will always remember the first time they ever won there.
Welcome back to Shannon's Legends of Motorsport. We're in the 7 studios today. Aaron Noonan is with me. Are we having some fun here? Yeah. Good. Because we're about to have a lot more. It's not all serious on Mount Panorama during the great race. Aaron, you've uncovered some gems.
I haven't uncovered some gems, Billy. I uncovered lots of gems with this man. Doug Mulray was massive on Sydney radio on Triple M in the 1980s, and he became part of the 7 Motorsport family. Now, some of the gold that I've dug, I couldn't help but giggle at. I had to bring it in for the show. So, in the case of cricket over the years, there's been classic catches. For Uncle Doug, it was all about classic crashes, and he channeled the late, great Richie Benaud along the way.
What's history being made here? Oh dear. Yes, see it again now. We're witnessing the birth of the trend of changing saloons into convertibles. Here we go. Let the Viva look smart when they fitted the vinyl roof. And who could forget Crash B when Dick Johnson totaled his Falcon while cutting a fire trail in 1981. Annoying not only his back manager and panel beater, but greenies all over the country. Let's see it again now. Yes, the conservation movement now rates this man as a greater threat to the environment than fluorocarbons. Oh dear, look at that classic Crash C, Japanese driver Katayama, who came out here in '77 and came to an untimely end. The marshals were quickly on the spot though, even managed to get the bandages on without removing his helmet.
You've dug out some amazing Doug there, but I have to say, he was a very knowledgeable motorsport fan, Doug Mulray. He knew what he was talking about, even though he was making fun.
Yeah, had his own CAMS licence and did a bit of steering himself, so he knew what he was talking about. He was really passionate about it, but he always put a bit of a spin on it. I've dug another one out of the vault, would you believe, Billy? From 1988, Tui's were the new sponsor of the Bathurst 1000, and well, Uncle Doug put together a little bit of a ditty to celebrate.
You know, about 2 months ago, the Bathurst 1000 looked to be deader than my friend Patrick Neal here, resting in peace in the Bathurst Cemetery. But thanks to a massive injection of capital from Tui's, it seems that the Bathurst 1000, or the Tui's 1000, as it's now known, is alive and well and throbbing in the bosom of petrol heads all over Australia. And we thought we'd celebrate that rescue, that dramatic financial rescue, in song. What better song than Tui's own famous jingle? Ready, Mr. Music?
How do you feel about 1,000 clicks round the old hot mix at Bathurst town? How do you feel? You want to pack your kit, drive up the road a bit to watch the boys go? How do you feel? It's Dickie and Brock, the pace is hot, without a doubt. How do you feel? The General and Ford settle old scores till the flag comes out. How do you feel about the slide and slam on the old race cam on 7 Sport? How do you feel? The sponsors bail, Bathurst might be nailed, it might come to naught. How do you feel? You need a load of bucks, it's the panorama drama again. How do you feel? You need to sign a new deal. I feel like Tui's, I feel like Tui's. Tui's 6 million will do. 7, if we could. Thank you.
Racecam has come a long way since 1979 when Sydney driver Peter Williamson buckled himself into a Toyota Celica and gave viewers their first televised ride around the mountain, along with some colourful dialogue.
There's that rotten Volvo, holding everybody up. What a joke.
Racecam technology has been refined since 1969. Present-day units now have 360-degree pan and tilt, while commentary from drivers has now reached the question and answer stage. With all the moving the camera does inside the car, you might think it would interfere with the driver's concentration, but that's not the case.
Well, I've had Racecam now, this is the second year I would have had it, and last year I found it very comfortable to drive with it and to speak.
Welcome back to Shannons Legends of Motorsport, celebrating those wonderful moments on Mount Panorama, and many of them were brought to you by Racecam. What an innovation.
Total breakthrough, an Australian-made invention. Channel 7's own. 1979 was the debut when Peter Williamson was microphoned up in the little Toyota buzzing around the top of the mountain. And, of course, Racecam and in-car cameras are now just part and parcel of any form of motorsport on television. And Peter Williamson, he was the first man on the moon. And after him were to be some of the biggest names in Australian racing that would carry Racecam with them as well.
Peter Williamson, can you receive us, Peter?
Australia. I'm back at it again this year. Chasing my old sputtering boat and a Fury Ford in front of me for the first part of the race. We're trying to keep on a constant pressure. We've had a lot of troubles trying to get to this race meeting this year, but everything seems to be working fine now.
Coming down to Valvoline Corner, we're following Peter Brock on the exit, and now the run down Conrod Straight.
As promised, this is Peter Brock driving the pants off the 05 Commodore. And believe you me, he will give it absolute hell for the next hour and a half or so.
Now just watch how busy George is behind the wheel. Bouncing around in the cockpit. Using all of the racetrack as he comes down to the left-hander. Through here, Castrol Corner.
He's a busy man at the moment, but I wonder whether I can squeeze a word in edgeways with Dick. You there, mate?
Yeah, mate, I'm here.
How's it going?
It's just that Dickett, that bloody Jaguar, mate, he's about 10 laps. Oh, I don't believe it.
He speaks highly of you, Dick.
Yeah, sure. Here's another turkey.
So how's it all sitting?
Mate, everything's going fine.
All the needles hanging in the right spot?
Mate, all the needles are, I don't know about hanging in the right spot, but they're hanging.
It took us inside motorsport for the first time. So many great moments, but it also inspired sports coverage around the world.
Massive. It went all over the world, to Indianapolis and Daytona and the like. And imagine being a rookie, though, in your first Bathurst, and you've got a camera. What about when everybody starts talking to you as well while you're trying to concentrate to drive around the mountain? That's what Neil Crompton, our own, found himself within this car, the mobile BMW, in 1988. He was making his first Bathurst 1000 start, and then everybody started talking. At the time, of course, Brock had been a Holden man. He'd busted up with the General. He was in these BMW M3s. They weren't an outright contending car. And I don't think anybody really understands that at the time, Mobil was a little bit shaky in their backing. Potentially, they were going to move on. Of course, they didn't in the end. And what actually helped keep them in the game was this amazing piece of race cam with poor Neil, with Brock in his ear, and just about everybody else. It's one of the most talked about pieces of race cam from great race history.
You're not doing too bad there, Crompton, actually. I'm impressed.
Brocky, Doug Mulray, mate.
God, Doug Mulray, one of the aficionados of motorsport.
Mate, I think you're being kind. I've been watching Crompton. I reckon he still thinks Apex is a club.
I can't concentrate. And Mulray, of course, now being the proud possessor of a CAMS licence. How'd you get it, Doug?
Graft and corruption, Brocky, like I get everything else.
We shouldn't be talking with poor old Crompton here. I'm going to hop back in this car very soon. And Crompton, I've got to tell you, I need my helmet back.
I don't know what you guys are doing, but I bet it's not to my advantage.
And after the break on this very special edition of Shannon's Legends of Motorsport, we go into the 1,000-kilometre era with the great race.
The 1988 Tooheys 1000 at Mount Panorama at Bathurst. Congratulations to Thomas Mazera, the great race winner in our bicentennial year.
That's the only race, isn't it, in Australia? Like forget all the other races. And people made in the legends there, like Brocky won it 9 times, and you know, Jimmy Richards and Mark Skate and all these blokes, they won it many times, and it's the race to win. And if you do well in there, that's what people recognise. And everyone know in Australia about Bathurst. Everyone know about Bathurst, and everyone remembers that who did well there in those years. And it goes from the, you know, then the manufacturers, they start to keep cashing on it. Like, they don't care if they win the championship, but they want to win the Bathurst, because that's the way it is.
No one else deserves to win in here than Frank Gardner. He was trying for a long, let's say about 2 decades now, and almost had it, but not quite. But today, I think, if we could, we give the race to Frank.
Frank, everybody wants Frank Gardner.
I would say I struggled to some degree. There wasn't simulators or anything in those days that you could practice on. You know, you just went there and thought, my God, what am I doing? Over the years I became more comfortable with it. I had some success. I've grown to love the track more. It was funny, Dick used to turn up every year, he'd drive down in his road car and he'd be all excited about it, and I used to think, you bloody tosser, you know. It's just a racetrack. But I feel the same now. I go there now and I go, oh wow, isn't this awesome? So, yeah, I've grown into it. It's a strange thing to do for a racetrack, but I've grown into it.
Well, time for a walk down memory lane now. We're going to celebrate the winners of the 1000 era at Bathurst, Aaron.
And starting in 1973, we're talking about what everyone really deems the glory years of Bathurst racing. I mean, these are the iconic moments that have the strong recall, the I remember when moments, and they're all in the Channel 7 archive, and they're the foundation of today's sport and the business as we know it, and the names and the faces like this one behind us are absolutely massive in Australian sport.
And Alan Moffat comes round. The black and white flag comes out, and the race is his for the 3rd time. It is Kevin Bartlett who takes the checkered flag to win the 1974 Hardy Broder 1000 for John Goff, and it's an elated John Goff in the pit. And he waves, he's got the checkered flag, and it's John Fitzpatrick who wins for the Ron Hodgson team, Bobby Morris. he's just too upset to know whether to laugh or to cry or what to do. And Moffat from the outside will sweep around and take the checkered flag first for victory in the 1977 Hardy-Ferodo 1000.
The fans, fickle in some cases and loyal in others, stand and salute the man who's going to go on and win the Hardy-Ferodo 1000.
Look at Peter Brock, and the crowd are going wild at the top of the mountain.
A great finish. Peter Brock now makes it 5 Hardy-Ferodo successes.
Well, that means that Dick Johnson is the winner under those conditions.
Yes, he has won.
The man who's going to make it 6, and he's got time to put the hand out the window and say thank you very much. Peter Brock in 0.5 comes across the line.
And John Goss has now got in, watching the clocks, and it stops at 48 seconds. And Alan Price makes his way.
You asked for him. It's Peter Brock.
Congratulations to Thomas Mazera, the great race winner. JB, how does it feel? You're the 2 East champion for 89.
Winning team, the Holden dealer team of Percy and Grice.
Checkered flag, Jim Richards, Nissan, that's his car.
I thought Australian race fans had a lot more to go than this.
One of the best victories, he's done it in the new V8 Formula. Larry Perkins wins the 2 East 1000.
The checkered flag is out for you.
Here's the moment, savour it, John.
John Bauer wins the 1994 2 East 1000. Dick Johnson is absolutely jubilant, as you'd expect.
Larry Perkins and Russell
And he points it up toward the checkered flag, and Craig Lowndes wins the 1996 AMP Bathurst 1000.
So many amazing moments, so many amazing races and winners as well, Billy. And it's been kicked around the Shannons Legends of Motorsport lunchroom for weeks before we came to the studio today, trying to define what is the defining moment. What is the defining car? What's the one that stands out above all others? Mark Osler is here with us to bring us the car that's been selected as number 1.
Guys, it's so great to share in the heritage of this amazing racetrack and all these famous cars and drivers. A lot of memorable cars competed at Mount Panorama over the years, and some of them were so good they became legendary. But there's one car that stands head and shoulders above all else.
It was a special car for a special driver. The Tirana A9X, prepared by the Holden dealer team for Peter Brock to drive in 1979. It was built for a fraction of the cost of modern touring cars, yet today it's priceless. A 160 mile/hour muscle car missile, designed with Bathurst in mind. It was fast, flawless, born to race. Under its huge bonnet scoop was a 5-litre pushrod V8 hand-built by Neil Burns. Fed by twin 48mm Weber carburetors, it produced 400 horsepower at 6,500 RPM. A rugged Borg-Warner T10 4-speed gearbox and 10-bolt Salisbury live rear axle with disc brakes were primed for battle. Tailor-made 10-inch wide Bridgestone tyres, bulging under flared wheel arches, provided the durability and the leech-like grip needed to demoralise its opponents. Clearly, this 05 Tirana was destined for greatness from the moment it arrived at Mount Panorama. In 1979, Brock, co-driver Jim Richards and the well-drilled HDT under John Shepherd mesmerised the mountain with a display of merciless dominance, fastest in Friday practice, pole position on Saturday, never headed for the entire race distance. Their winning margin, 6 laps or more than 37 kilometres.
Peter Brock, there he is, at speed. Already the fans up on top of the mountain are cheering him on.
And to rubber stamp their superiority, Brock set a new lap record on the final lap of the race. Never has a car and driver combination displayed such arrogant mastery of the mountain. It was simply the most dominant performance in great race history.
Totally stunning. The 1979 Tirana A9X, what a classic. It was hotly debated. What were you voting for?
Oh, absolutely, because the A9X was the car I always wanted as a kid. The closest I got was a Gemini.
Same badge.
That's the truth. I did my best. Didn't have much money in those days.
Well, you've picked it up these days. Jim Richards actually, of course, drove that car. He actually was the last man to race it in New Zealand a year after the vision that we saw there, and it was somewhat fitting that Peter Brock did drive that car again at Bathurst in 2004, the last time he drove really at some form of speed around the track, because he didn't get to start the main race the next day. But amazing memories, and I mean, you only see some of the vision and the imagery here, and you can't help but get a little bit emotional about it all.
Your favourite memory? Being a younger generation guy and not able to witness some of the earlier ones other than on tape here in the archive at 7, to me, 87. The World Touring Car round, Brock's 9th win, against the odds, the non-factory man, all sorts of stuff happening on that day. That's the race that stands out for me. Ironically for me, it was the form finish for Ford in 77, only because I was a Holden family and I was afraid to go to school on the Monday because that was such a devastating blow to anyone who was a Holden fan. But congratulations to them, and it was a long time between drinks. Anyway, thank you, Aaron. This has been an extraordinary series. Our thanks to Shannons, of course, and don't forget the Shannons Club, because you can join today. It's free, it's easy. Go online, you can go to the virtual garage. There are topics on the forums of all kinds. You can enter lots of competitions, find a car club or an event, catch up on episodes of Shannons Legends of Motorsport from last year and now this year as this series comes to an end. We hope you've enjoyed 2015. Aaron, thank you very much for all your contribution. It's been amazing.
My pleasure, Billy. A fantastic project to be a part of, and our crew has been amazing again. Our audience and everyone watching at home, I hope you've enjoyed what we've brought to you this year.
Our thanks to Mark Osler, of course, and the dedicated crew, as you mentioned. And, of course, without Shannons, it couldn't be possible. Thanks to them too. From us, bye for now.
I'll drive the first few laps the same as I'll drive the rest of the 159, flat out.
Seeing that Cameron changed the whole face of motorsport.
We'll be taking a break, then we'll be back.
He would never give up. He would race to the last lap.
The Holden dealer team, they'll be our main rival.
I can only say that the car ran faultlessly all day. I just filled in like 5%. The rest of Ron Hudson mechanics did their 95%.
Bartlett maintains the lead. Whoa!
It was an amazing way to experience motorsport for Tim and I in those days.
John Bow from the second row, gets down, is spun.
Always harder to pass than a kidney stone.
And Bow takes round number 1.
The 73 race changed the whole character of the race.
Oh, quick across the top is George Fury.
The Monaro's unbelievably fast.
But the Gagans, of course.
Really successful, flamboyant racer.
Richards now storming towards the leaders.
We thought we could win the race.
Shut the gate, it's an Aussie V8.